Hey everybody, welcome to episode 98. We're going to do the Destroyer album today. First though, before I get started on that, let me, as you can see in the background, we got the burning fire back from Electric Kitsch. And it is now set up, so it's just a nice looking guitar. Like I said, there is a, it has dual humbuckers, but they're not the sealed kind, they're the open ones. But they do have a Burning Fire matte black guitar. It's also the same price as this thing, although actually it's not. It's actually a little bit more because it comes with that amplifier, which the amplifier is not good. But I was thinking about getting the guitar as a matte. I like to have the matchy-match sets. I like when I get the guitar and the bass are the exact same. They're matchy-match. It's got a different fretboard. It's got like the little pearlized, almost like the. Actually, no, it has the diagonal cuts, almost like a Jackson on the what do you call it? The guitar version of this. I was thinking about getting it. I don't know. Maybe not. I also was kind of looking at the Cherry Burst Les Paul style guitar from Leo James. My son got a Leo James Scorpion, which is a single cut Les Paul style guitar. It was like on sale for like $80, and it is awesome. It sounds really nice. It feels like, it says solid mahogany. I don't know how true that is, but it says it's solid mahogany in the description. So if it is, I mean, it's got the wood like a Les Paul. I mean, sure, obviously it doesn't have all the fancy components that the Les Paul does, and it's not made as well, but looks pretty nice. And that Cherry Burst version, which is my favorite Les Paul, is like the Ace Frehley Les Paul. That thing looks really cool. I was also kind of looking at that one. That was a little pricier. That was like 160, 170. Obviously, probably maybe next year. But I do kind of want to get the matchy match one to this. What do you call it? Again, I'm not going to play the thing. I was watching a thing on people getting slammed for doing covers, so I'm really going to try to avoid, if I start playing this thing on camera here, I'm going to try to avoid playing any, copyrighted music. I can just do my own stuff. It's not plugged in, so you can't really hear it. But anyways, no, the action's good. He set the action really nice. He said it toned perfectly. I could have told him. I mean, I knew that because it was toned perfectly right out of the box. But he said it toned fine. It had. He didn't raise the pickup. I don't think you can raise this pickup without putting springs underneath it. I think it is supposed to be lower because obviously so it doesn't catch. But it is plenty loud. Especially if you throw the overdrive on the bass, gives it a little extra punch. You can hear that. It's the same problem. I don't remember this being as common back when I first started on basses and just trying out basses in the guitar store much. But it seems like all the new basses have this terrible buzz on the F. It's not me because I obviously set the thing up. I didn't ask him about that because I didn't try it out in the store. I got it at home and heard it, but it doesn't translate that much through the amplifier. But it's one of my problems I had with my Spectre is that F buzzing so much. Go right to the B flat. Nothing. E flat. Right there in the G sharp. Nothing. But it's that stupid F. Maybe I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. You can see my fingers turning white. Close to the fret, doesn't really seem to matter. But you go up to the F sharp and you're fine. G's fine. Anything up there is kind of fine. I just test. It did buzz a little bit right up here. That's gone. I don't really play up here. I'm not one of. Once in a while, trying to do some Chris Squire stuff, but outside of that, and then I'm not gonna play it. But the square hammer, I'll do that. But I'm not usually I just just bend all the way up to there to end a song or something. I don't play up here a lot. I usually play right around here, and then right around here in that mid range. At the E octave, I usually play around there. Because I don't want to play too close to that song. I get copyright struck. I was teaching myself what do you call that stuff, which is it was pretty simple, but Mr. Speed from Kiss. But yeah, so I got it back. It's fine. Again, just that F. It's my only complaint. I've seen videos, people talking about how to get rid of that buzz, but I just had it set up, so I don't want to waste it. $25 all he charged me, so I'm not going to waste the $25 by undoing what he already did. Because the action's, and I like the action where it is, I think it's fine. Everything else is fine on it, but like I said, for a $70 guitar and the way it looks, as long as it doesn't translate too far through, I can live with the a little bit of buzz on that F. But so that's that. All right, so let's get on to the main subject here, which is Kiss Destroyer. So I got this on Discogs. I was a little miffed though when I first opened it up because nowhere in the description did it say that it had the cut in the corner, and I really don't like these cuts in the corner. They always irritate me. I mean, it's not terrible, but I like to, especially when I love the cover art, I like to keep that, I like that cut right there. Sorry, I think I got a light out back there. No, the light's just not on back there. Alexa, turn on bedroom light 2.
Okay.
There we go. A little bit more light in here. I like that ethereal glow behind me. I'm wearing the headband. Sorry, I'm not trying to just look cool. That rosacea on my forehead's starting to come out. I'd say I'm good for about 2-3 weeks, and then like the 4th week it just starts breaking out. So, I don't want to put a bunch of makeup on my face for these videos, so I just throw this thing on there and it covers it up. Keeps my bleeding forehead from being on camera. Yeah, I love the cover. Obviously, I forgot to pull it up, but I'll pull it up when I do Love Gun. I'll pull it up. Is Ken Kelly? We'll do a little bit. I need to do a Ken Kelly video. I know nobody paid attention to Boris Vallejo, but Ken Kelly, especially the Kiss people, might pay attention to him. I love Ken Kelly's art. I always have. He's definitely in that. He's obviously a clone of Frazetta, just like Boris is. But I love his art, and he did the covers of these. Love Gun. I love those Micronauts action figure covers that he did. He did a bunch of Conan stuff. Really like his stuff. Yeah, I just wish that Nick wasn't there. Now, the record played fine. It said that the record, what do they say? It's D doesn't affect, or was it something doesn't affect playback? DAP? I can't remember what it is. It's some abbreviation that they have on there. I can't remember. I see that a lot now on Discogs. Never heard of that before, but it makes sense. It doesn't affect playback. And yeah, the disc's fine. Plays just fine. I find it a little, and I don't know what this is. Is this old records seem to do this as opposed to the newer records? This is the original pressing, right? But the thing is, it seems very low. And I don't think it's my system, because I could play another record and it sounds just fine. But this record, you throw this record on there and it's a little low. Normally I say I listen to it in the headphones about 55, 57 if it's a little low, but I'm cranked this one up to 60 in the headphones, which seems a little loud for me. That or my hearing's going, one of the two. But it's funny how it's it's only going on certain albums. So I don't know. I found it to be a little low on the the volume side. It played fine though. There's a little bit of noise, a few pops and stuff here in the silent areas, between tracks. Not terrible. When the needle first lays down, you get a little, and then it's kind of silent. But then it gets kind of little scratchy in between some of the tracks. A little bit of noise. It's I only paid $12 for this. shipping and tax. So I think this album was like $6 or $7 normally. But and it did have. I still got to get more of these. It did have I got to put it in the rice paper. But it did have the original sleeve on the inside, which is pretty cool. Kiss Army. Shout out loud. Got the whole thing there. And again, it's got the cut there too. So that came in their album, which is good. The funny thing, it did say though in the description, it had said nothing about this, which they normally do. It did say there's minor ring wear, and I would say it's pretty minor. It's just barely here, barely on the top. It did say that there's like a green speckled that they didn't know if it was in the original art or was or something was sprayed on it, like spray paint. And I have no idea what he's talking about. Him or her. I don't know what they're talking about because I'm looking at it. There's like little, I guess, specks in the artwork, which, yeah, that looks like, but he said green specks. He said green specks in the trees, too. I'm like, there's no trees on this cover. It's pretty much they're on top of a, cliff or whatever, and it's got that cool fantasy, just kind of ambiguous color swath background. I thought maybe Men on the Casablanca record, because there is the green palm trees, but again, I don't see anything there. It's like Tom Baker, Doctor Who. What the heck? So, yeah, I don't know exactly what he's talking about. But again, I'm pretty satisfied. Like I said, I did not want to pay $37.99 for the reissue of this. With the extra disc. I don't care about the extra disc. I'd rather have the original copy of it. I'd like to have it. The record's fine. Like I said, the record can be clean. I'll clean it again myself. Might take care of a little bit of the popping. But it is what it is. I'm not huge. Not huge. It doesn't have to have a perfect disc. If I ever found a better copy, I'd probably swap it out, just to get rid of that. I don't know. I got a few of those on my Angel discs. It's not the end of the world, but I did order, now that this one came in, I did order Love Gun. So Love Gun I got around the same, maybe it's a few dollars more. So Love Gun's coming, so I'll definitely do Love Gun next. Hopefully it's as good as, didn't say anything about this on the Love Gun either. Hopefully it doesn't have another corner taken off. I do gotta say, they got them at Electric Kitsch. These are more matte, heavier bags. They're better than the crap bags that I've got. I need to get some new bags. I like these bags better. They don't slip around as much as my other ones. All right, let's go into the album here. Again, I'm not going to play the album. If you're a Kiss fan, you probably already have the album and you know these songs. So you're basically, again, you're just listening to my take on it. But if you haven't heard the album or if you haven't heard it in a while and you don't own it, just go on YouTube. So I'm pulling mine up already on YouTube. I added it to my library on YouTube. It's available there for free. Just go on there and look it up and pull up YouTube. And you can listen to the tracks. So let's get into it. On that, let me switch over. So here we go. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on Detroit Rock City because I found a discrepancy that I didn't notice before. Let me pull my notes out here. Now, my analysis of this album track by track, I'm not really talking much about the music itself. The music, it is what it is. People can talk all day about the intricacies, of Kiss musical arrangements. All they want, right? My take on it is, it's almost sort of like a stand-up comedian kind of bit. Not that I was, I'm intentionally trying to do that, but it's just there's a lot of things I find listening to this again at my age. I'm just like a lot of things that maybe I think too much. Maybe I need to just let things go and just stop thinking. But I can't help but question. So the first one we'll get on to. So side A is Detroit Rock City. It doesn't show side A and B here on YouTube, but side A is basically the first 4 tracks, The Great Expectations, and then you flip the disc side B and it starts with Flaming Youth. Now this particular one, which is not a remaster, they show the remastered version down here. or resurrected. I don't like the red on that. I like the blue much better. But it's got this Rock and Roll Party. I don't know if that's from a B-side of a single, or what it is, but I'm assuming it's on the CD. I never had this album as a kid on record or 8-track, and I never had it on tape. The only time I ever had this album was when I bought a bunch of CDs in the 90s, early 90s. I got a bunch of Kiss albums, and I got Destroyer. It was the first time I ever owned Destroyer. It's the first time I ever owned like the Gene Simmons solo album too. And I remember listening to the CD a lot, and that song might have been on there. On the record, though, however, the last song on side B is "Do You Love Me?" So Rock and Roll Party is not on this, which I didn't even listen. I didn't even listen to it on this. So I'm gonna omit that from my analysis, just because I'm going more off the record here, the vinyl. So, all right, Detroit Rock City. I mean, it's a classic song. It's an iconic song. Everybody knows it. Obviously, for me, and I run into this with a lot of songs, unless it's by like Bob Seger, or Ted Nugent or somebody. I mean, it's a lot of these songs by people who aren't from Detroit. Now, sure, Detroit's a big rock town, and that's why they wrote the song. They played a lot of Kobo, and of course Silverdome, where I saw them, and Joe Louis. Of course, they got their big start up in Cadillac when they went up there to that high school and did that whole shebang that they did to kind of put them on the map. But it's clear to me that the people who write songs mentioning Detroit have never driven in Detroit. I can't say it for certain. I mean, hey, Paul Jean, if you're there, which you're probably not watching this, have you ever driven through Detroit, like the Detroit area? I'm from the Detroit area. I'm from Rochester. It's born and raised in Rochester. I live in Bay City now, which is north of the Detroit area in mid-Michigan. And I'll show you. I'm going to pull up a map because I'm going to show you on Google Maps what I'm talking about. But this is just like when Journey, mentions, Don't Stop Believing, just a small town girl born and raised in South Detroit. There is no South Detroit. There's an East Detroit, and there's a West Detroit. Then there's like the main city of Detroit. And I guess you could say northern Detroit would be, all the suburbs, basically where all the mass exodus of white people went after the riots in Detroit. There's the only South Detroit that there is Monroe, Gibraltar, Taylor, Michigan, that area. Is that what he's talking about? Downriver? I guess that's what they're talking about. They say South Detroit's downriver. Well, it's not Detroit anymore. That's downriver. That's it's Monroe, Gibraltar, Taylor, Michigan. Can't remember what a Wyandottes down there. So in this song, I'm listening to it. It starts out with the like it's a no news broadcast, and I pulled that whole thing up, the lyrics and all, because it shows it here. As you can see here, it says, congressional. This is like the intro. This is what's playing in the background. It's like a news report. It says, congressional reports. President Ford says that he's disappointed with Congress performance. And then in Detroit, a Pontiac, Michigan youth, was reported dead at the scene of a head-on collision on Grand Avenue this morning. I think this is they're sampling a real news report, because that sounds like a real news report. I don't know whose voice that is. If it's from a radio station, or I'm assuming it's a radio station, not a TV. Somebody's obviously getting ready to go somewhere while they're listening to this. It's probably one of the guys in the band, right? And anyways, so he says Grand Avenue. So he's on Grand Avenue when they had this accident. Okay, we'll show where Grand Avenue is. But anyways, he's reportedly driving on the wrong side of the boulevard. That happens. When he's struck by a delivery truck. That happens. And was catapulted through the windshield of his car. That happens. The driver of the truck is reported to be uninjured. That happens. Sorry. The identities of both men are being withheld by local police. County legislatures today are expected to rally to the aid of striking longshoremen in hopes of ending the 9-month deadlock. Now, I don't know exactly what they're referring to. I'm not a huge anything, but I'm not a huge Michigan history buff. Obviously I know a lot of the big stuff like the Edmund Fitzgerald, and the yada yada this, yada yada that. But this striking longshoreman must have been at the time something in the 70s was going on in hopes of ending a 9-month deadlock. Okay. And then the Rock and Roll All Night Party Every Day starts playing when he gets in the car, and then he takes off. So then kicks in the song. But here's the thing I was like, okay, I'm on it. Feel Uptight Saturday night, 9 o'clock. Radio's the only light. Okay, sounds cool. Sounds like driving in Detroit. I hear my song and it pulls me through. Yep. Come on strong tells me what I got to do. I got to. Get up. Everybody can move. Blah, 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 blah. You know the song. You Lose Your Mind in Detroit, Rock City. It is Detroit, Rock City. I mean, that's Detroit used to be when it went, well, back in that time when this album was written, it was huge. It was a rock city. I don't know how it's not much of a rock town anymore. Detroit itself, the city, isn't really much anything anymore, to tell you the truth. Everybody gonna move if you get down, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Getting late, I just can't wait. 10 o'clock, and I know I gotta hit the road. First I drink, then I smoke. Start the car and try to make the midnight show. Is he going to see Rocky Horror Picture Show? No, I don't know what he's going to see. Probably some concert. I get up. Okay, here we go. Moving fast down 95. What the hell is he talking about? It's not South Detroit. Let's go to the map. Okay. Just in case anybody knows, currently right now, I reside up here in Bay City, right? Okay, sound weird. One of the main roads in Detroit, or in Michigan, is I-75. It goes all the way down to the Florida Turnpike. If you're going to Florida, you take I-75 the whole time. I-75 runs past me into Saginaw, or Saganasty, right there. It goes through Saganasty, goes to Birch Run, where the, the outlet stores are. It goes down to Maris, which right off the highway, there's the Velvet Touch adult bookstore. It used to be like a haven to go to as a kid. You're heading into Flint territory now, right? Don't drink the water. There's Flint. Goes through 75. Keep going down 75. Okay, this is how I'd be going back to my hometown to see my mom. So you go past Grand Blanc, you're still on 75. The Michigan Renaissance Festival right there, right at Mount Holly. You're still heading down 75. Pine Kanab is close here. Where's Pine Kanab? Pine Kanab is off of, Pine Kanab Music Theater that I'm always talking about. There's Pine Kanab. Alright, keep going down 75. You're going to hit, you're eventually going to come up on what was the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is no longer there anymore. Yeah, no more Palace, where I saw a lot of good concerts, Presto, Rush, you name it. Okay, now we're getting down into the Oakland County area, because I think I just passed over. Okay, that's the city limits of Detroit, right there. I think that's 8 Mile. That should be the Mason-Dixon line right there, 8 Mile. Okay, so if you keep going down here, Bloomfield Hills. Okay, now just so everybody knows, I'm from Rochester Hills, Rochester, Michigan. I'm born and raised in this town here. And again, if you're going to go to Detroit, you're probably going to go down Rochester Road and catch on M59. Now, M59 goes out towards Mount Clemens, that way on the east side, almost goes all the way out here to Bay Harbor and all that shimmanamana, Harrison Township, blah blah. There's Mount Clemens there. All right, so you take and that goes over to Pontiac. So this kid was from Pontiac, right? So that's right there. Pontiac is right next to Auburn Hills and Rochester. Auburn Hills was only from, actually at this time, Auburn Hills didn't exist because there's a big sign when you pass under the bridge by the Chrysler Tech Center. It says, established 1983. So Auburn Hills, it was still Pontiac at the time, or as my my Uncle Bob, who's my dad's brother, because they were born in Lake Orion, he used to always call them North Pontiac Hillbillies. Lake Orion and the Auburn Hills area is North Pontiac Hillbilly. So there's Pontiac. Okay, now when you're in Pontiac, there's one of two ways to get down to downtown Detroit. This is where the trolley used to run. You're either going to jump back on I-70, you're going to take 59 to I-75 and jump back on 75 going south, or you're going to take Woodward Avenue. Where's Woodward Avenue? Where's Pontycrack? Where's Woodward? Yeah, where's Woodward? So Woodward Avenue is, the Woodward Dream Cruise. Everybody talks about Woodward. Woodward's a big road. Why am I not seeing Woodward here? But yeah, Woodward will take you all the way downtown Detroit. Where the piss is Telegraph Road's another road that goes down there. Okay, but again, I'm not hitting a 95 at this point. We've got M59. We've got I-75. All right, we're going to eventually take 75. We are going to pass Square Lake Road, which is 24, 75, what? I just call it Square Lake Road. I didn't know I had a number. I think, there's Telegraph. Telegraph is 24. Okay. Okay, Woodward, I guess Woodward runs with I-75? Sure. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm on drugs. That is Woodward. Why does it say 75? There's I-75. So you could backtrack down M59, the Pontiac Silverdome, where I saw Kiss originally in 1979. That's over here. I know I'm. This is also kind of showing you a little bit of Michigan if you're not from Michigan, the Detroit area. All right, so the Pontiac Silverdome was over here. Silverdome actually was just past. It was right here. It's just past Updike Road. It was right here. Now it's the Amazon Fulfillment Center. The DET3 Amazon Fulfillment Center. It's the freaking Palace. It's the freaking Silverdome, which is gone. Anyways, Palace is gone. Silverdome's gone. Everything's gone. It's all gone. So you head down 75, or you can take Woodward if you want to take Woodward. But again, no 95, right? You're eventually going to hit 696, which goes to 96. Yeah, you're going to hit 696 at 75 Junction here, right? That goes out to like the Detroit Zoo off 696 and Woodward. There's Royal Oak. I mean, you ever hear me talk about Royal Oak? There's Royal Oak there. Remember I talk about Tora Tuesday? That is in Ferndale. I have a pin in it here because my friend lives near there. Yeah, right there, Ferndale. Fashionable Ferndale. That's where Tora Tuesday was. A lot of times you would take, actually we just take 75 to 9 Mile and get off at 9 Mile and take that down to Ferndale. Like I said, here's the Mason-Dixon line, 8 Mile. That's the city limits. Once you get into Detroit, you're on 75. You've passed 102. You've passed... There's the Davison Freeway, which is not 95. You're going to keep going. Now you're going to cross 94, which goes all the way out to Grosse Pointe in the east side, East Detroit. Remember, there is an East Detroit. That's over here, East Detroit. Grosse Pointe, that whole area over here. That's down where Tigron Sports. Oh, that's where the ninja stuff was. It was 9 Mile and Gratiot, which is over here. Gratiot's another. People cruise Gratiot too. Gratiot was a big avenue that went all the way down to Detroit. Where I mentioned Grand Avenue in the song too. Grand Avenue is somewhere around here. Oh, let's not get off base here. We're looking for 95, which doesn't exist. So we're 75. We're still on 75. We cross 94. 94 you'd take out to go to Dearborn, or if you take it out and you get on, you want to take it out to like Ann Arbor, where U of M's at, or if you're going to go to Chicago, you're going to run out that way, or Kalamazoo. Now we're getting into Detroit here. I see you get this little Lafayette Park, this little wraparound thing that goes down by Hart Plaza. That's down where Cobo is. Cobo and Joe Louis is gone now. Yeah, Cobo is down there. That's where I think that's where they had played just when this album, right around the time this album was recorded. Or it was the tour from Destroyer they played there. I'm pretty sure. But I think they played there sometime before with like Kiss Alive, the first one. But yeah, there's no 95, Paul. What are you talking about? So yeah, so when he says, I know it's a long way to get around this, but moving fast down 95. Now I thought he meant like 95 miles an hour, but it says moving fast down 95. Hit top speed, but I'm still moving too much too slow. Okay, hothead. You drive 95 miles an hour down I-75. You are looking to get in a car wreck, trust me. The fastest I've ever driven, I've driven coming out of Detroit. I drove on my motorcycle heading back up to Rochester. I buried the needle on it, and I was going well over 100 miles an hour, and I was in a weird frame of mind that night. I was young. I was only 20. I mean, I actually was 21, 22. I definitely know what they're talking about when, And like I said, I can imagine in the song, you can hear the car shifting gears. He's in some cool, from Maserati, probably. That was a big sports car back in the 70s, my Maserati. And he's flying, he's shifting lanes. They're playing Detroit Rock City. He's flying down I-75, Paul, not down 95. Feel so good, feel so alive. Hear my song I'm playing on the radio. Whoa, it goes. Get up, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that was my big discrepancy in the song was down 95 doesn't exist. I get the impression that a lot of songs were written about places like Detroit and by people who've never driven. They're riding, they're stoned and passed out on a tour bus. Maybe not these guys, but I mean, they're definitely on a tour bus, or they're in a limo. They're not driving. They could care less what road they're on. Same thing with Journey. I don't think anybody in Journey is driving down South Detroit. Again, that's what he's talking about, South Detroit. That's called downriver. River Rouge, the River Rouge plant that's down there. Fighting Island. You get down there, the nuclear, Gibraltar, Woodhaven, Flat Rock, Southgate, Wyandotte, Honey, I Dunk the Kids, the Wyandotte version. So that was a story from a long time ago. Anyways, yeah. All right. So again, we spent way too much time on this song, but I just wanted to make my point. No 95 point. Okay. King of the Nighttime World. I like the song. I like that. I'm sorry, that one's starting to grow on me. I wasn't a big fan of that one before, but ever since hearing it, like on on Kiss Alive 2, I really starting to like King of the Nighttime World. I don't really have much to say about it other than I'm starting to like it a lot. So, I'm the king of the nighttime world. I love that. God of Thunder. I used to love this song as a kid. I used to love, oh, God of Thunder. It sounds so cool. God of Thunder. I don't like the recording version of this. And I gotta say, so far, listening to this album, I don't like the studio. Kiss is such a better live band. The studio albums, I guess, are kind of moot at this point because, there's some B-side sleepers on there, right, that people may or may not like. Most of them aren't that good. That's why they never showed up like double platinum or showed up on a live album. Songs like Great Expectation. We'll get to Great Expectation. But anyways, but God of Thunder sounds better live. Most of all these songs sound better live. The studio, I don't know what was going on in the studio, but it's like they were like kids in a candy store or whatever. The producer was. It's just, let's just throw a ton of shit on the song that makes no sense. God of Thunder, it's like, what's with the kids in the background? I don't understand that. It's like, you're the God of Thunder. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you got the Pink Floyd British kids in the background screaming around. It's just like, Okay. Why? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the background stuff in Detroit Rock City makes sense. He's driving around, ends up finally getting into a car wreck at the end, smashes his car from driving down 95. Anyways, but God of Thunder, what's with the kids? That's all I got to say with the kids. And the other thing is this a song about Thor? What is this song about? Is Gene supposed to be the God of Thunder? I thought you were a demon. Gene, not the God of Thunder. He's going to rob you of your mortal soul. Is that what the God of Thunder does? Gene, do you know who the God of Thunder is? Okay. I swear to God, this song sounds like, my 11-year-old son and his buddy who are, trying to put songs together. It sounds like they wrote the song. It sounds like a 12-year-old wrote the song, which says a lot about the band. I mean, I love Kiss, right? But they are definitely, overgrown 12-year-olds. Because it's just like, what? It's just like, let's just make up a bunch of word salad about stuff that sounds cool and just throw it out there. Or the God of Thunder and rock and roll. Okay, so he's the God of Thunder and the God of rock and roll. It's the same person, I'm assuming. There's a dual deity here. Okay, and he's going to rob you of your mortal soul? Why would he do that? Why would a God rob you of your mortal soul? I could see like a demon robbing you, or the devil robbing you of your mortal soul. I don't think the what do you call it? The Norse gods were into robbing people of their mortal soul. At least not the main ones. Sorry, maybe I'm just again thinking too much about it. Like I said, I put my notes. I said I really don't like the backing track noise. It just sounds. It's very distracting. It just takes away from the song. It also remains like, when they first recorded this album, I don't really know much about Dress to Kill before this, but did they just learn how to sample then? And so I was like, hey, you know what? The producer's like, or the engineer said, hey, you know what? We just learned how to sample stuff, so we're just going to put stuff randomly in the background. That's what it seems like. It's like, anytime they could throw in some shit, they would. Okay, Great Expectations, track 4, last track on the A side. The song's weird. I remember when I got the CD, it was the first time I really heard the song back in the 90s, and I just thought it was weird then. It sounds, again, this also sounds like a song that a 12-year-old wrote. It's like, he's got all these like sexual references in there, and then it's like juxtaposed against this weird like an anthem-y theme. It's not even really. I mean, the anthem theme would be more Flaming Youth. But anyways, this Great Expectations. Great Expectations. This is when I saw it on this album. I kind of scratched my head. I could have swore that this song was off of the Gene Simmons solo album, because this is the type of song that belongs on a Gene Simmons solo album. I can't remember what he... Maybe it is. Is it on the Gene Simmons solo? It just... it's got that feel. Like, it doesn't fit. This song isn't destroying anything. All these songs... This is the Destroyer album. Detroit Rock City. Okay, we've destroyed a nice Maserati. King of the Nighttime World. We're destroying the night. God of Thunder. You're robbing people of your mortal souls. You're destroying people's souls. Great Expectations... sounds like you're destroying a lot of girls is what you're destroying. Yeah. I find it weird. Like I said, but I have no room to... When it comes to 12... I mean, obviously, I got toys in my room. I talk very extensively about when I was 12 years old. So I really don't have room to talk when it comes to, acting like I'm 12 years old. I want to forever be 12 years old. But I'm also don't have a net worth of a few... $100 million as well. So, there's that. Yeah. Like I said, it's my last closing thing was it doesn't sound like a mainline studio album song. It sounds like a song that should be on one of the solo albums. Alright, Flaming Youth. So we flipped the disc over on side. Time to play B-sides. Flaming Youth. More straightforward rock, and this one sounds like this is like a Twisted Sister song before there's Twisted Sister. This is let's fire up the youth, let's get them charged up. It's an anthem. what did I put in my notes? I said, yeah, it's a nice kids theme, the anthem before Twisted Sister came along. My power is my age. I always got that right. Oh, so what it would be to be young again. It's definitely a power being young. I said I put in here also making the destroyer joke. I said I don't see the current generation, meaning Gen Z. I don't see them destroying anything except for maybe their futures. Although I did say in context to when the song was written, they're probably talking about my generation, Generation X. Also, we did not destroy anything, and we did not burn up. No, what did he say? It was a line in there. He said something about you're burning up the night. What was the track? What was the thing? Oh, setting the world on fire. That's what. Setting the world on fire. Yes. Generation X was not setting the world on fire, nor was the millennials setting the world on fire, and Generation Z is not setting the world on fire. How the world has changed since 1976 when this album came out. The flaming youth is not setting the world on fire. If anything, yes, there are a lot of. I said there's a lot of people going gay lately, so they got the flaming part. Definitely flaming youth. I don't say that derogatory. I'm just making a note of it. Sweet Pain, track 6. You know what I thought when I first heard, I looked at the title Sweet Pain, before I even starts thinking, you ever get that pain? It's like in your taint. It's like a muscle spasm or like a Charlie horse, but it's right in your taint. And it comes on for no apparent reason. There's probably some lack of something to cause it, but you'll be sitting there awkward, or we're getting in and out of your car or something else, and you gotta like straighten up and stiffen out. You got this Charlie horse right in your taint. I call that sweet pain, and it's not very sweet. Yeah, I don't know what causes. I haven't had it in a long time. I better not say anything, or otherwise I'll evoke the God of Thunder. He'll make my my taint hurt. So, anyways, yeah, Sweet Pain. What? But the other thing is, I was wondering, what is he talking about in this song? Is the girl the sweet pain? Sweet pain. Or my love is gonna, I don't know, do something to you. It's gonna destroy you. I can't remember what it was. But what's he talking about? Is the girl the sweet pain? I can see that. There's a lot of girls I see that are sweet pain. Oh, that is a pain in my taint right there. But I don't know what exactly he's talking about. Chime in on this one if you know. Like I said, any of these discrepancies or any of my questions, obviously I've got Google in front of me. I can look the stuff up and they'll probably tell me. However, I would like to open a dialogue with everybody. So somebody tell me if they know what the hell's going on this, so I don't have to look it up. We can talk about it. Shout it out loud. Love this song. Always loved this song. I loved it since Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. I love the live version. Again, live stuff sounds so much better. Studio recordings of Kiss are... I mean, I like Rock and Roll Over. It's my favorite album. But really, at the end of the day, it's all about the live albums, the live versions of these songs. So, yeah, I always love Shout It Out Loud. I love when Gene kicks in with his part in the vocals. I love that. Beth, track 8. I know it's an iconic song. It was also in Phantom of the Park. I know everybody loves Beth. Beth is definitely the I'm looking for the blowjob song. It's definitely the ones to appeal to the ladies. However, I'm not a fan of it. I've never been a fan of Beth. I find it... the first thing that pissed me off when I listened to Beth like the first time and really listened to the lyrics was, why is Beth even complaining? Dude is at the frickin' studio with the boys in the band, right? They're either recording an album or rehearsing an album, right? Beth, I gotta stay and work. If I don't get my work done, that means no more Rockstar money. Go find something to do. Oh, I'm alone. Oh, I miss you. Go take up... It's 1976. There's no internet. I'm sorry. Go find a romance novel or go read something. You know what I mean? Shut up. I'm working here. If I don't get this stuff done, then guess what? You're going to divorce me because I no longer have the Rockstar money. So This song has always pissed me off. I've never liked it. I like Peter Criss's voice, and I think Hard Luck Woman is a much better song. I really like Hard Luck Woman. It's not my favorite album, but yeah, Beth's always just kind of pissed me off. The song just pissed me off. I know, I got irritated. Do You Love Me? Now, here we go. Last song on my album. I don't have the 10th track that you see here. But, Do You Love Me? So Paul's laying down the law. He's basically telling you, this is what, he's telling Beth, shut the hell up, Beth. What did I put down in my notes? I said, there you go, Beth, quit bitching. And no, Paul, she doesn't love you. Yes, it's very true. Beth does not love you, Paul, or Peter, or whoever. She loves your 7-inch leather heels. She loves, all your money, honey. That's pretty much what you've itemized everything that she loves, right? It's not you. You are not in this equation here, outside of the fact that you can provide all of this stuff. The only thing I always thought was weird is, why does she like the studio? Because Beth was pissed at whoever in the Beth song, you're staying too late at the studio, and I'm so lonely because you're spending too much time with the boys in the band at the studio, right? So why does in Do You Love Me? Obviously, it must be a different girl. She loves the studio. She doesn't complain that you're staying all night in the studio. She's not lonely. She can find a lot of other people to do while you're at the studio. Yeah. I said, why does she like the studio? Isn't that what Beth was complaining about? Spending too much time in the studio? So yeah. I like Do You Love Me? I always thought it was I just like the 7. You like my 7-inch leather heels. I don't know too many women that like 7-inch leather heels on a dude, unless you're one of the guys in Kiss and you got Kiss money. But yeah, I like the album. I mean, Destroyer is a classic album. Again, I'm gonna keep reiterating. I don't dislike them. But I don't like the studio versions as much as I like the live versions. I much prefer hearing these songs on, one of the Alive albums. Kiss Alive 1 and Kiss Alive 2. Kiss Alive 1 obviously is the older songs, and I might delve into that at some point. Yeah. All of the throwaway songs that Great Expectations, throw it away. Sweet Pain, toss it out. I would say all the songs that are not on the live albums that are on this album are pretty much throwaway songs. Not like Rock and Roll Over. I like much like Rock and Roll Over better than this album, and I find the songs that they do that weren't on the live album to not be throwaway songs. I think what was the one song I'm just like, it's okay. But like most of those songs were on the live album too. Take Me, yeah. I think it's a better album. This has got a cool cover. I mean, the cool cover on Kiss Rock and Roll Over, but this has got the Ken Kelly artwork, which looks really cool. And obviously, this was the most likely the inspiration or the references they were using to do the Kiss comic book, as I was talking about, because Gene's got like I said, it didn't dawn on me. I always thought to myself, it's like, didn't his dragon armor or whatever it is, didn't that come out later? But then I realized, he's in that costume on Destroyer, and Destroyer's before Love Gun and Rock and Roll Over. So I was like, okay, well, I guess he's always had that. I'm just always used to, because he wears all that now, and he's got the axe bass, and he didn't have the axe bass then. He was still playing with probably the Ripper or the Grabber. Thanks, everybody, for telling me about the Grabber. Why could I not remember Grabber? You're either ripping her or you're grabbing her. Yeah. I like that a lot. So, and I love, obviously Detroit Rock City, even though no 95 Paul, it still kind of resonates with me because, I'm from that area. I've driven all around there, I know, I can imagine, that whole song and the scenario, hopefully not imagine the wrecking part, but yeah. I said King of the Nighttime World is starting to really grow on me, and it's because of the Kiss Alive 2. God of Thunder, like I said, I used to love it as a kid. Now I just find it silly. The song's just silly. I like when they're talking. I like when they're talking about banging chicks, or they're talking about loving and leaving them. They're basically being kissed. I like when they're singing about that. That to me sounds fun, cool, and it's kind of. I wish I could be like that. I wish I had Kiss money and Kiss fame, and I could be loving and leaving them. It kind of puts you. It kind of takes you. It's like a fantasy. What do we call it? Fantasy situation. But the God of Thunder, I just find just a silly song. Great Expectations, whatever. I say Flamin' Youth. It's an anthem song for young kids. I mean, it's cool. Sweet Pain. I don't know what exactly he's talking about. Shout Out Loud is great. Get your fists bumping song. And then Do You Love Me is just it's funny. It's truth. But again, it begs the question, Paul, do you really need to ask, do you love me? You know the answer. Why anybody would ask themselves that question is beyond me when you're in that situation. Beth, like I said, it's an iconic song. There's a lot of people that love Beth. They'll probably get hate. Oh, what are you talking about? Beth's an awesome song. It's okay. It just, me personally, rubs me the wrong way. And I say again, I would much better hear Peter Criss sing like Hard Luck Woman or something like that. I think it's got a better sound to me. I like the song better. Beth is just a little too looking for the blowjob song, and not that I wouldn't be looking. I'd be looking for the blowjob too and be playing some Beth songs, but I don't know. To me as an outsider looking in, it's just like it's time to go to the bathroom. let them play to the girls. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and come back, and hopefully they didn't play a song that I liked. Trying to get back from the bed, trying to weave your way through the crowd to get back to the bathroom, back from the bathroom. All right, so some of these reviews don't take super long. These aren't really reviews. This is just my take. This is my input after listening to the album. And I haven't heard this album since the 90s. I think literally the last time I heard this album all the way through like this, holy shit, wow. Probably 1992. That's when I had it. I got it in 1992 on CD. I had a bunch of them. I went kind of like, I found a bunch of Kiss, I think it's Solo Records, and a bunch of Kiss albums. So I ended up buying a bunch of Kiss albums on CD. I was putting my CD collection at the time. It was 92. I mean, that's what we were all doing. And of course, when I purged I sold a lot of my CDs. Well, I sold them all pretty much. But I mean, back then I took a bunch of CDs like in the late 90s and early 2000s, and when I started to go to college, and I ended up selling a lot of them off, for getting like $1 a piece or whatever at used record stores. You remember Media Play? Media Play used to actually give you like $2.50, I think, for a CD. Didn't matter what it was. You could take a CD in there, almost any CD, unless it was just some weird, goofy thing, like a Billboard music charts or something. So as long as it was an actual studio or an actual album by a band, you could go into Media Play, and almost sure enough, they'd give you $2.50 for every single one of them. And then they'd turn around, they'd sell it for like $3.95 or $4.95. And so, if you bought a lot of these albums used for like $3.95, $4.95, and you got $2.50 for them, that was a good deal. I tried not. I said I did the Columbia House thing with CDs, and then I also I bought a lot of, not a lot, but I bought a bunch of CDs new. Harmony House and Harmony House Berkeley got imports and stuff. But I realized, just like I guess running into the same situation here is, back then, I mean, a brand new CD. I remember in the late 80s, before I even started collecting them, they were like $19.99 a piece when they came in the big cardboard things. I think Best Buy was the first one to actually put them in a shelf, like just the CD, without that plastic thing on it, because they either had the cardboard on them, which I thought was stupid, or the plastic. Obviously I think it was a deterrent for stealing, I guess is what it was. And then they ended up putting the things at the front of the store, so then I guess they didn't. It was kind of superfluous at that point to put that big honking thing, because it took up too much space. And then the person had to take it off when you buy it or whatever. But I ran into the same situation. I mean, it's why I bought this instead of the reissue. The reissue's almost $40. Back then, I think if I was to buy some of those Kiss albums new at the time, they're probably $10, $15. Why not just buy them at Solo or some other used record place? Media Play. I mean, they sold used records because they're buying them. You could take them there and you could get them for like $4. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the way to go with these albums too. I think, I kind of went a little crazy with the Ghost because it really is the only way to get the Ghost albums. And then the Iron Maiden ones, which I paid through the nose. I mean, I paid like $25, $30 a piece, but that's a lot of money. Luckily, they're ordering a lot of them. But if you buy 4 albums for $100, shit, $100 at a used record store or a used, a record convention, record show, $100, you walk home with a stack. I bought a stack of records like this for $45. And I got I had like 15 albums or 14 albums or whatever I bought. Ish. 10 albums? I can't remember what I bought. But, essentially, getting the records for like, on the average $4 or $5 a piece. Why would I go and spend $100 for 4 records? I mean, sure, they look cool. I like that they're new and they're and they've got blah blah blah. They don't have this going on. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not buying new music. Meaning outside of Ghost, and then I'll get into the Gunship later. I gave Gunship to my son. I wasn't even going to do a video on it. I don't know, something about it. I just don't like it. It rubs me the wrong way. But I like old music. I don't really like anything new, with the exception of Ghost, the only new band that I like. So, I'm going to buy the old stuff. Sorry, I'm going to throw me back up on full screen here. I'm going to buy the new stuff. Or sorry, the original vinyls. I know the 180 grams and the 200 gram discs are cool. They're heavy. They're thick. They play better. They sound better. Yeah. And if you could find one for a decent price, yeah, go for it. Or you get one on sale. People run sales. Try to get them for less than $20 a piece. But if I'm buying an album from 1976, I'm probably just going to buy the original pressing or whatever, an older second pressing or whatever of that album, and have it. So, again, I got my list here, and I did cross it off. Let me just run down this real quick before I go here. So this is my list of my favorite bands by album, and these are I wrote down the albums I specifically want for the bands. I'm not going to read off every album, but I'm going to read off the bands because there's not a lot of them. So I've got all the Angel albums I want, with the exception of the new ones that came out. I don't know if I want those or not. But I do have all the original albums, including the live album. I've got all 3 Asia albums that I want, right? So Asia. Blue Oyster Cult, I need a few. And again, with Blue Oyster Cult, I'm only going from the original album up to Extraterrestrial Live. Maybe Revolution by Night, and maybe Club Ninja if I can find them, just because I love the album cover. But really, Extraterrestrial Live I find is their highest point in that band, and that's my favorite. So I only need a few albums. I need Mirrors, Spectres. Mirrors I don't really care so much. Spectres I really want. And I need the first 2. Otherwise I have everything else. Oh, Some Enchanted Evening Live, I need that one. But I've got most of the Blue Oyster Cult albums. Cheap Trick. I don't need them all. And even though I put on here from the original album up to Lap of Luxury, I can actually do with a lot of the 80s ones up to Lap of Luxury. I kind of like Next Position Please, but like The Doctor, Standing on the Edge, All Shook Up, In Color too. That's that other 1978 one with Heaven Tonight. I know where I can get it for cheap, but maybe I'll get In Color. I'm not sure. I'll probably, if I pick it up for $3, I'll buy it. Yeah, and it's in decent shape. I'll get it for a collection. But I can't even think of what's on that album. I've got all my Ghost albums, with the exception of the EP, If You Have Ghost, and the Ceremony and Devotion, the live album. Again, I'll have to buy those new, and they're pricey, so I'm probably going to wait on those for a while. I don't have any of my Hawkwind albums. I got my whole list of Hawkwind. And again, Hawkwind, I'm only going 1971 to technically 1990 with Space Bandits, and then Stasis, which is those UA years. But Love in Space, which I did have on CD, I don't even think it's available on record. But if I ever found Love in Space on the live Love in Space on album, I would probably buy it. But other than that, I'm just going to 71 to 90. Iron Maiden, I'm just missing Number of the Beast as far as albums that I want. I just need Number of the Beast. Journey, I just need the first, or I need Infinity, Evolution, and Departure. I've got Escape Frontiers, Raised on Radio. I'd also like to find the greatest hits on LP, just because I like that. It's a greatest hits. Kiss, now I scratched off Destroyer, so now we're just down to Love Gun, which is on its way. Now I just need the rest of the solo albums, the Gene, Peter, Paul and Mary. No, Gene, Peter, and Paul, and then I need the double platinum, because I like the double platinum, which probably has all of the songs from the first 3 albums that I'd ever want to listen to, and so therefore I'd probably just get Kiss Alive. I don't really know if I even need the first 3 Kiss albums. Probably Kiss Alive is probably, and double platinums, probably all I need. And then after, maybe Dynasty, maybe, probably not. Definitely not The Elder. The Elder was so bad. Creatures of the Night. Which one has? Which album has? I want to hear it loud. Is that Dynasty? I can't remember. I like that song. But again, if I find like Unmasked or something, or Dynasty for like $5, $3, yeah, I'll buy it. Yeah. But I'm not going to actively, I'm not going to order off Discogs. That's not one of those albums I want to get. The Police, I just need the first album. Otherwise, I've got everything else up to, well, that's all they had. It's 5 albums. I just need the very first album, which I could live without, but I'd like to complete the collection. Rush, I've been neglecting my Rush duties. I need to go back and get some Rush. All I have is Signals, Grace Under Pressure, and Exit Stage Left. I need to pick up some more Rush stuff, but I don't really, every time I go to Electric Kitsch, all they have is the reissues. I can get the reissues off Amazon, but again, we're talking $25 an album now. I would rather just find, original pressings or older pressings of the Rush albums. That's all I have now. That's all I'd like to have, I just want back what I had when I was a kid. And then Tangerine Dream, another situation. You can get a few of them on reissue. They're expensive. Most of them are Japanese imports, but they do exist on the original recordings. So I need to go and get You kind of have to be in the mood to really get Tangerine Dream. I mean, I love Tangerine Dream, but you have to kind of be in the mood for that. And then yes. I need Fragile and Close to the Edge. I'm still trying to find decent copies of those. Tales of Topographic Oceans, Relayer, Love Relayer, Going for the One, and then, like Yes Shows Live or like Yes Songs Live. I can do without them, but if I can find them, I'll get them. Otherwise, I want the studio albums. But yeah, I need to finish up my Yes, and that's it. That's my collection. Like I said, I kept telling people I think there's 14 bands there, and not all of them have 10. Some of them have more than 10. But I think on average, I averaged out, it's like there's 8 songs or 9 songs for all 14 bands. Let's just say it's 15 bands. What's 9 times 15? 120, like 150 albums-ish, 145, 150 albums-ish. That's every album on this list, right? So, if I owned 200 albums, what the hell else would I buy? Except for just buying, like, everything, oh, I really like Michael Jackson's Thriller, I'll just get a copy of that. I mean, do I really need one? No, but, if I found one cheap or whatever. And that's kind of how I got, like, Foreigner 4, Billy Squier album, Def Leppard, Pyromania. There's certain, like, Metal Health I wouldn't mind having. Shout at the Devil I wouldn't mind having. but you know, maybe some of the Ozzy albums. But outside of that, that's pretty much all my favorite bands, and that's about 150 albums. So I can't see owning many more than that. You know, and once this is complete, this sheet is complete, I'm pretty much, unless obviously Ghost probably come out with a new album, but other than that, I'm kind of done. All right, it's been over an hour, so I'm gonna let this one go. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Like I said, Love Gun will be coming. I'm going to do a video on those Kiss trading cards, but I'm not going to do that one right after we do this one. I'm going to stagger the Kiss ones a little bit. So I'll probably do a fill-in episode tomorrow, you know, or whatever, find something that I want to talk about. I had an idea. I can't remember what it was exactly. But I'm glad to have the bass back, too. That's pretty cool. So I highly recommend buying one of those if you're in the market for something like that. Like I said, you want a cheap bass that you just want a bedroom jammer. You know, if you're like me. I mean, I have no aspirations of playing live. I have no aspirations of being a rock star at 50 years old. I don't care about any of that. All I want is something to be sit here in this chair, my bedroom jammer, and $70 on that. It looks really kick-ass. That's a great bedroom jammer. So that's what I'll do. Like I said, eventually I want to pick up an electric guitar. I'd like to have the matchy match to that. It'd be pretty cool. I'm not the best guitarist. I'm pretty much just a straight up power chord player. You know, power chords and a few. I don't really solo, and I don't do sweeping, and I don't do blah, 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 blah. I'm not like my son's all. That's all my son. I'm more just, I'm playing I want to learn what are the chords of the song? What are the lyrics of the song? All right, I'm going to sing the song, and I'm going to play the chords, probably just power chords, and with distortion, because it's most of the type of music I like. You know, or if I'm going to play, you know, acoustic, I'm going to dug out the classical guitar, and I'm going to do some inner picking and do that. I like to know the sort of chords and sing. That's all I like to do. That's my favorite thing to do. Same thing with the bass. I mean, I like to... I don't usually sing as much when I play the bass, but I just like to learn the songs and just kind of jam along with them in bedroom jammer. So if that's you, and that's what your hobby is, or that's what what you want to do, I highly suggest just paying $100, less than $100, on a cool looking guitar that makes you happy. You're probably gonna get, you know, you're not gonna get absolute garbage. It doesn't seem like they really make absolute garbage anymore. It looks like they make some pretty decent stuff. I mean, you get, like I said, get this off-brand stuff, you know, you pay $80 for it. You're going to pay, for the same level and the same quality, you're going to pay $200, $250 for a name brand, like a Squier and Ibanez. Don't do that. Buy a cheapo. All right, so I think we're done here. I am going to chat with you on the next one, and we'll do that. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.